Welcome to Blind Vision. I am your host, Caden. And speaking of, you think I should change my channel name, or maybe not my channel name, but at least like my alias to Bluesaber03? Just tell me like where I should go with that, if anywhere. So yeah, this is a podcast that I just made for my public school because I go to the Ohio State School for the Blind in Ohio. Oh yeah, that's kind of redundant. Sorry. And Shanahan Middle School. And we were asked to make documentaries, and this is what I made. So here goes. This is How to Fight Terrorism. How to fight terrorism. Terrorism has been a problem since the 1980s, or perhaps since World War I or II, and continues to be a problem to this day. All around the world, groups like the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS massacre and manipulate innocent people like you and me. Because of their influence, many everyday citizens decide to drive trucks and shoot automatic weapons into crowded areas and detonate cars, buildings, and even themselves, all in the name of serving a cause. So, how do we stop them? For the intents and purposes of this discussion, we are going to trace the history of modern terrorism, starting with the Taliban and ending with today. According to www.pub.nac.edu, the Taliban originated as one of many mujahideen factions that formed during the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. After overthrowing the Soviet-Afghan government in 1994, they began launching attacks and counterattacks against Afghan, Pakistan, and United Nations forces, and still reign tyranny and terror to this day in rural areas. In these parts of Afghanistan and Pakistan, gangs can walk into schools and induct anyone they want into their groups. Women and girls must stay at home at all times unless they are accompanied or have permission from their husbands, and education is severely frowned upon, especially for women. This is how the famous Malala became widely known. In October 2012, she was on the way to school, and Taliban members stopped and boarded her bus. According to a speech she made in front of the United Nations about half a year later, when she refused to get off the bus, she was shot in the forehead and 13 of her friends were killed.
On the 9th of October 2012, the Taliban shot me on the left side of my forehead. They shot my friends too.
But she continues to stand up for young people's rights to education to this day.
I'm here to speak up for the right of education of every child.
But as of yet, the work of the Taliban is not over, and terrorism still thrives in the darkness to this day. Aided by the Taliban, a radical jihadi group known as Al-Qaeda sprung up in the Middle East in 1988 and has since become a source of misery for many people. Perhaps the most well-known action taken by Al-Qaeda was on September 11, 2001, or 9/11, when two planes crashed into the Twin Towers in New York City, a third crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and a fourth crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, all of which, according to CNN and BBC, killed somewhere between 2,606 and 3,000 people, although Wikipedia estimates that tens of thousands could have been killed inside the Twin Towers alone. The attack was orchestrated by the now-deceased Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, and was a tragedy that undoubtedly shocked and changed the world. Perhaps the newest and most infamous terrorist group to this day, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS, appeared in the Middle East in 1999, but declared its caliphate, or religious significance as dictated by Islamic culture, in 2014. According to CNN, it has conducted or inspired more than 140 terrorist attacks in 31 countries, including the most severely affected countries of Iraq and Syria. All these attacks have resulted in at least 2,043 deaths and thousands injured through methods such as bombings, mass shootings, and driving heavy vehicles like trucks into crowded areas. Their goal? to wipe out anyone who is not Islamic or who disagrees with their radical views, while wiping out Western civilization in the process. And their influence is vast. In recent years, many people have been swayed into committing horrific acts of terrorism, including suicide bombings and school shootings, such as the infamous shooting at Parkland High School in Florida on Valentine's Day, when a deranged ex-student pulled a fire alarm and killed 17 people with a smuggled-in firearm as they emerged from the building. Many people are converted through ISIS's recruitment website, and many of them may have mental illnesses or are drugged into performing these actions. As it stands, your next-door neighbor could be one of them. And that's not even taking into account all the rebel groups in Africa who use child soldiers to do their bidding. So, how can we help? Well, the best thing to do is not be afraid. I know, it sounds hard, especially when it seems like terrorism is everywhere. But no matter what political undertones they may have, the whole point of all these macabre attacks by these misguided individuals is to let us know that they're serious by making us feel scared and helpless, and that they're unstoppable. Therefore, if we react with fear, we will only be playing into their hands. Don't curl up and hide, stand up and fight. When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor in December 1941, did we shrink back in fear? No, we took up arms and fought back. I'm not saying to pick up an AK-47 and march to the front lines. Just staying where you are and spreading the spirit of hope around you instead of letting fear stagnate is enough. Share hopeful messages on social media, give people moral support and conversation, build others up, anything to spread hope. When it comes to fighting terror, the best weapon against fear is hope. This belief is shared by Hope Not Hate, a British advocacy group that uses research and community activities to prevent the spread of racism and fascism. Another weapon against terrorism is knowledge and awareness. Spreading the facts is a good way of keeping the uncertainty and worry that fear encompasses at bay. But Malala states it plainly.
The extremists were and they are afraid of books and pens. The power of education frightens them.
Hope and knowledge are weapons. Anybody can wield them, so why not let it be you?
The terrorists thought that they would change my aims and stop my ambitions. But nothing changed in my life except this. Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born.
So what do you guys think? I was told it was inspiring, but leave me your feedback in the comments. As always, God loves you all the time. May the force be with you. And
take picture. Stop recording.
And blind vision out. See you guys next time. Say.
Take picture. Stop recording video. Viewfinder. Stop recording video. Button.
Okay, bye.